You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Why, you didn't think I could unmute my own mic? I'm just kidding. You can't unmute Mike. It's in the show. Oh, my God. Anyway, just want to do a quick intro for these guys. Mike and Mark, the M&M team, where the truth is not candy-coated. It's going to come straight at you, and the chocolate is going to make a mess of your face. But it's all good. It's yummy. Anyway, I had a wonderful afternoon on noblesradio.co.uk, hanging out with Nala, and, of course, Mark was in on the call as well as James, who is here. I'm going to open that mic up because you're going to open this table wide open. I got Cullen here as well. So let's get those open. And without further ado, because it's all about do, not doing, it's just being and actually creating, letting the cab driver take you on this path. Mike and Mark, the M&M team, take her home, boys. Let's have some fun.
Aloha, Mike.
Aloha, Mark. Aloha, all. Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Good evening, guys.
Amen.
That's Cullen, just so you know.
Yeah, I recognize Cullen, made manifest.
Good evening, Cullen, Mark, Kate, and everyone else.
Very good evening.
There's James.
Hey, James.
Optimum Solutions, baby. IT Solutions. There we go.
Hello, James, Colin.
So what's on you guys' minds tonight?
I had some pretty good insights come to me earlier today that I would be happy to share if if everyone's willing to open up and just kind of listen, share my experience that I just kind of realized. With me, a lot lately, like a lot of people, I get a lot of comments on a lot of the stuff that I put out, because I do put out a lot of stuff, a lot of writings, a lot of poetry and stuff. So I get a lot of comments all the time. And some of the recurring things that I noticed is a resonance of somewhat of a limitation type resonance. Just you know that type of speak when you see it. And to use kind of Kate's resonance, it's kind of like, in my mind, it's kind of like, painting your canvas with and painting dog shit all over your canvas is what I like to see it as. So, but it's really useful because it provides, I take my time, and, a lot of people will sit there and they'll write like 20 comments, like one-line comments, like 20 of them, and they're not well thought out. So I take my time and, get centered, get deep, get dark, and have a well thought out response. And when I do that, it turns out to be this beautiful writing that comes through. And so it's awesome. I can just copy and paste those comments and, do some editing, do some revisions. And then it turns into this, it comes alive, It turns into its own entity within itself. And so I get in my mind, I get all the pictures that I've worked with, and so I'll throw those in there, and then it just turns into this beautiful piece, like literally a masterpiece. So I've shared before the quadrivium of truth with you guys, and now I added and I expanded onto that. And what was cool was last night, like it came to me, like I was like, you know what? It's important to share the steps of how to lead people through the different stages of awakening and through the different stages of truth. So, because a lot of them will, get caught in a lot of people get caught in the literals, and they'll get caught in, and get caught up in the dramas. So how do we lead? What are the keys to get us through these different stages and build the bridges through the different stages of awakening to get us to, open up, to expand to where we can accept new ideas, new concepts without judgment and without, freaking out, without going into like hysteria.
You want the easy answer?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
The easiest answer of all, simply just shh. shut up, get silent. Because while, you're trying to figure out the next clever thing to say, that's the ego. And I used to deal with that a lot. And Cullen, you are so right as far as getting caught up in the literal traps. Then it becomes mindless, someone who just likes to babble on. And that is just sheer program regurgitating what is already created instead of creating. So you hit that one right. I'll have you on a building site anytime, because that's on the middle of the nail and sunk with one hit. That's the kind of framers I like to have around. So,
definitely.
I just want to share this because I don't want to be involved too much tonight, because this Emerald Hill, this is what I'm trying. I'm giving the reins. I'm giving the truth over to others so that they take the reins, the truth, and carry it through. But I wanted to say that, for as much as we were a little bit late getting on last night, what it seemed to have done was, and I knew it was a perfect reason for it. That's why I just made a cup of tea and just waited until things got to where they needed to be, and we got on. But because we were 30 plus minutes getting on, apparently those that are liking to fudge the numbers were asleep at the switch, thinking it wasn't going to happen. And as a result, we got to read on some true numbers of what is happening. And last night we had just under 680,000 people tuned in. So that is the measure of consciousness awakening. And I just wanted to share that to let you guys know how big your table is. This is your consciousness growing. In as much as it's mine, it's yours. In as much as it's yours, it's mine. This is the co-creation, and what you were talking about with the pictures and everything, Cullen, is exactly what people are starting to do. And you will never get there until you can shut up and simply say to yourself that everything you ever knew was garbage, literal garbage, and then you can look at it from I'm going to observe it now from a different perspective. I'm going to see what the universe is telling me, not what it's feeding me. It's what you take from it. It's why phonics is the key, the master key to the game. It's what opens Pandora's box so that you can see this reality for the first time in a very long time. We're awake to a level and an understanding that, I have to tell you, was so well hidden. Of course we got out. We're supposed to. This is how the game works, right? We're not going to trap ourselves infinitely. It's going to feel like infinite some days, but and the key is very simple. It is in the sound, and once you break this, once you redefine your reality, take a word and redefine it using phonics to the word that you want it to be. Now it's your of creation, yours. Define yours. And it is literally this easy.
So can I go ahead and read?
Gods don't ask permission. Gods just do. You know the rules. There aren't any. Go.
I don't want to step on any toes or anything.
Sorry. Would that be assuming that somehow you can offend someone here? Oh no, we'd have to agree that it's that. I used to say this at the cafe a lot. Shut up and sing.
Nice. All right, well, I'll take the floor here real quick. I mean, it's not long, but it's very, very helpful. So again, the quadrivium of truth has now, I've expanded on it. I call it the bridges through the quadrivium of truth. And so again, the stages, depending on one's own level of spiritual or mental fortitude and or awareness. Number one, the beginning, depending on where you're at. A lot of us are born, at the different stages, and we don't even have to, think about it, which is good. You don't want to think about it. You just want to do. You just want to be. So there's stage one. The truth will scare the shit out of you, a.k.a. cognitive dissonance or like psychotic shock. So in other words, you backtrack, you run away from it when you're confronted with truth, and, it can kind of make it seem crazy. Step two, stage two, would be the truth hurts. That would be emotional reaction. So in other words, you get caught up in, this makes me feel a certain way. Whatever way it makes you feel, it's an uncomfortable feeling. It can be uncomfortable. Stage three would be the truth shall set you free. And that's your liberation, spiritual union, free thinking, radical individualism, stepping into your own, becoming self-confident in your own truth, as opposed to what anyone else tells you. That's when you're redefining your own reality. And step 4 would be the truth becomes hilarious. So that's when you see the drama for what it is. It's just drama. You're the observer, you're the director, you're the master. It's your divine comedy. And it is comedy. You see everything as the joke that it is. And a lot of people are born this way. They're born with this sense of humor. So we all know these individuals, the different levels. And so we know the great enlightened comedians, the musicians, the artists, the poets, the philosophers, the scientists, the humanitarians. That would be your George Carlins, Bill Hicks, Terence McKenna's, John Lennon's, Mark Twain's, Van Gogh's, Carl Jung's, the like, and so on and so forth. So the bridges through the quadrivium of truth. How do we get from the different stages? What are these keys to unlock through the different stages of the truth? I've come to a truly profound formula for unlocking the doorways into triggering broader awareness and through the 4 stages of what I call the quadrivium of truth. What I have found to be the keys to unlocking the doors and removing the seals that hinder open-mindedness, tolerance, and acceptance of new perspectives are creativity and humor. That's it, plain and simple. The bridges we build that can lead us over the trenches and chasms of cognitive dissonance and psychosis are humor, art, creativity, music, and all higher forms of learning, thinking, being, and doing by example. This is how I personally have blown the doors wide open, and in turn, drawing many others, like minds and like hearts, to do the same through creativity, art, poetry, and humor. That is the way into expanded, holistic, and creative thinking, or super consciousness. All else could fall under the classification of a mandate rather than a lighthearted invitation through your own example. So we don't have to go out and try and change anyone. We don't have to go out and awaken anyone. We be creative ourselves, and that draws the new awareness to us through our own awareness. Now, we could also aim to refrain from the use of pessimistic words and thoughts of limitation, such as, it's impossible to dislodge the premise from the mind, or, quote-unquote, is lost on people who are dumbed down, concrete, uncritical, and unimaginative thinkers. There's no getting through to most of them, quote-unquote. So, in other words, these are comments that people will leave on some of the things that I put out, and they're obviously you can feel the resonance of the limitation held within them. So we want to work on changing our definitions of what we're thinking, and in turn what we're saying, and in turn what we're creating in our reality. And then I included a couple pictures of how the voice commands your reality through thoughts, words, and sound. And again, we should refrain from using speech such as it won't help or it's not worth it. What's the difference it could make? And that's all limitation speak. That's all slave speak. Abracadabra, the Hebrew phrase for I create what I speak. So watch your words, watch the things that you're saying, watch the thoughts that you're thinking. You got to use your conscious filter. You filter out these things that you're thinking, that you're saying, that you're speaking, because it's it's perpetuating your own reality of that which you claim you don't prefer. So I'm personally very deep in the practice of eliminating the limiting speech and perpetuate ion of limitation. Let go of the need to express your frustrations, as that only creates more of it. Don't suppress or deny it either. Instead, go into the heart, feel it. Ask yourself what it's truly allowing and creating for you, and if it is serving you or not. Transmute it by listening to these questions, quest of ions, that you're asking yourself about why you're feeling frustrated and what the root cause of it is. Okay. So
Sorry, Colin.
It's
Sorry.
all good. It's all good. So don't let the circumstances outside of yourself dictate the way you feel. Become aware of why you allow them to rule you in that way. And at that moment, they will shift into coherent heart resonance with the reality that you prefer. So, final segment. We would benefit to be aware of the projections, project ions, that we're imposing on others by limitations we are speaking about them. We sure as hell wouldn't want someone making those judgments about us. So why should we speak that way about them? We will only ever see in our lives that which we are projecting into it. Now, in my reality, I see my power through the clear, concise thoughts and words, triggering immense and profound changes in myself and those that it reaches, because I set conscious intent to refrain from thinking, speaking, and projecting limitations into my experience. We must hold the space that for what we prefer to fill that space if we wish to see it reflected in our reality. Mirror, mirror, it's simple physics. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of that reality that you want, and you cannot help but get that reality drawn to you. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. And that is all pretty much I wanted to get out for now. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Colin. My feelings from that is that from the love that you were transmuting, that you were sending, wherever you are across the airwaves and many miles, I'm sure, different from me. You sound as though you're certainly not close to me. However, you feel really close to me. And suddenly your words were turned from, I've heard this before, to, I'm really enjoying this. Just as you said, my ego attempted to prevent me enjoying where you were going. However, I'm left with the thought that says, he who says he is awakened may not be awakened.
Definitely, you're seeing those other perspectives, seeing all the perspectives open.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, so you brought up a really good point. Let's see if I can. This creativity. And so a lot of people are like, oh, we hear this word, co-creating, we're creators, be creative. And for a lot of people who haven't turned into their so-called more artistic nature, whether it's painting, drawing, playing an instrument, it's reminding how, in many ways, people are already being creative. And if you want some ideas, right when you said it, I just thought playing. Playing is really creative. Just playing.
Hell yes. Going back to that inner child that knows nothing else but how to create.
You're going back to pureness.
Yeah.
Aren't you? Which is what you see from a child. It's pureness. It's untaintedness. It's beautiful, isn't it?
So in that act of playing alone, it's in a way pure creation. And usually when we think of creation, we're like, where is the thing? Generally, we were thought that we're manifesting things, money, car, whatever it might be. But really, in a creative, one way we are all being creative is in the joy we express, the playfulness that we can be in. And that is creating on a pure intent level. And this sends waves of love across the universe.
Yes,
spot on,
indeed.
Mike.
And so for that, it's a very encouraging sign for me, because I'm remembering on a very base level how I'm creative, and just, it's like you share a smile with somebody, and they get that smile, and they share it to somebody else, and they share it with someone else. You just created a whole lot of good, man. So these are the other ways we're remembering we are creative.
Yeah,
So,
true. It ripples outwards.
Guys, do you think Jesus said, "Why me"? Or did Jesus say, "Why me"?
Well, yeah. I used to say, if you take enough things, if you do enough things, it's, I don't want to get into specifics, but how do I say it a little clearer? If you keep knocking on the door, and you keep asking for this, and then all of a sudden, when it comes, you turn around, but why me? Why me? You said you wanted love. You said you wanted a free world. You said you wanted this. This is why you.
Yeah, if not you, then who else?
Yeah. Thank you, Mike.
Definitely. We're the ones we're waiting for.
So in that, it's James, it's really like so many times people have forgot, so many times they've asked for this. And it becomes a burden. And then you remember, wait a second, I wanted this. This was my salvation, so to say. And then that burden shifts to becoming a freedom.
And your gift. It's your gift. And, first it's your curse. And then you break through and you realize it's your greatest gift.
Yeah, it's like speaking to people about miracles, and they look at you as if you're stupid, and then you help them to realize that everything exists in miracle form, and suddenly they get closer, and I keep coming back to this fact that of the amount of work and effort that was put in to find the word, and yet here are we, part of the converse angle, moving back out again in search of it, and the words that we share and the energy that is there is creative. And in that creation, I just want to arrange a meeting point where we can all say, right, okay, I can get there, And like,
yeah, I know it's like a common ground to know that, hey, I'm doing this. We are doing this. And so it's kind of like confirmation of your knowledge, confirmation of certain things, the way you've seen things. And part of what we're coming into now is, like you say, okay, did I really just do that? Do you ever have that? Did I just really cause that? We used to have these thoughts. And now we're recognizing more and more, damn straight I did.
Yeah, we still seem to be on the esoteric level instead of on the universal level, although that which we are on is the universal level. We are still esoteric in as much as the sharing of this word is surely uppermost. I don't know.
I would want to say that it's like we're, as Terence McKenna says, we're dissolving the boundaries between, it's no longer the esoteric and the exoteric. It's the dissolution of the two to where it becomes the one. There is no more separation between the esoteric and the exoteric, the inner world and the outer world. It's merging. Our boundaries are dissolving between each other. We're drawing connections, and we're seeing it now. Because we don't have to rely on doing everything ourselves, because we can reach out, we can connect with everyone, send everyone friend requests, start sharing, start helping, start getting out there, getting active, just putting your resonance out there, and it creates literally a tidal wave of beautiful creation that you can literally see. It becomes tangible, and it's no longer the question of, I can't see it manifesting in my I'm not sure what I'm creating, because you literally start to see it, and you are the lighthouse, and you see everyone literally coming to you. That's what's happening with me. I'm literally, still kind of like, whoa, I don't know if I was ready for this yet, but of course I'm ready for it, or else it wouldn't be in my experience. So, of course we're ready for this.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Do you remember how Kate eloquently put it? That it's like we're lots of strands, and now we're making a beautiful piece of rope.
Yeah, we're a common thread coming together to...
The singularity.
Yeah, to make this coming together in this singularity.
And that's exactly what you're saying, Colin.
Yep, spot on.
Nice.
Being tapestries of synchronicity for others to look to.
Hey man, it's like nature. I keep saying it. It abhors a vacuum. Abhors. It. You cannot defy nature. And we've been trying to. I don't say we've been trying to. We understand the program. We got the game, and we said, good game, good game. And now we laugh.
And now we all go have
another game.
We all go have a beer afterwards and go party. the
fuck
metaphorical beer.
Yeah. Pull up
the after party.
Hey guys, I've got somebody here. I'll just bring somebody in a minute. Jack144. Hello.
Hello.
Jack144. Hello.
Okay, well, he'll speak up when he's ready. Colin, you put something on, it was like a small paragraph. Was it today on the on Facebook?
I put out a lot. I put out a lot of shit, man. So
yeah, there was some small paragraph I read somewhere today, and I was just like, again, it was so succinct, to the point, and just covered enough bases just to bring it home. This is what I keep reminding you. It's like these things are just reminding us, and they're just bringing it on home. Just this is my reminder again. More I connect to more knowledge or truth that keeps revealing itself to me, it's like the closer I feel I'm coming home, and I know in that space it's a truly loving space. I don't even use space, place.
This
is where we're at.
It is the space. I've been going back through all of the heart math, all of the heart math articles and their videos of the resonance of the heart coherence, the global coherence initiative, literally drawing the connections between each other, finding that inner balance within ourselves, and it radiates outward when we're coherent within ourselves. We smooth out the bumps and the ridges. We make it smooth. We make it the even sine wave, and that aligns the mind of the heart, and that opens up the full balance between the mind and between the brain and the heart. And that's when you start seeing the magic. And that's when all there is the magic. That's all there is. It's already here. It's already happened. We're seeing it happen. As long as we don't buy into that which we don't prefer, that's just the echo. That's just the echo bouncing back, that we let it pass through us rather than being affected by it. And that's what calms that raging ocean, you know, that's what calms that stormy sea, and it begins to become, you know, the smooth ocean like glass, and that's when it settles down within us.
You reminded me of something. It's a projection outside, and I'll use the word masses for the rest of us. But a lot of times we'll project a so-called problem. The masses aren't ready, and you're reading about this. They won't get it. Well, as long as you think that, guess what? You're literally in one way hindering your own creation and the rest of humanity's creation. Yeah, I can look at all of us, and most of us, let's say, and say, yeah, I got some things I could definitely work on. Well, what I'm getting at clearer is I have when I look at, say, myself or the rest of humanity or the population at large, or even not even, I try not to fragment this out. But what I'm getting at is I think positive. I think of how easy it can be for everyone to awaken, to grasp this point, to tune into the heart. This is what I keep imagining. I keep imagining how simple we can do it, whether it's one simple breath or one laugh, or that I know we all have this ability inside of us to make this connection, and because it's always here, it's always open. And so in that way, I don't think how asleep people are or mind control. I'll describe it because that's what we went through. But when I have to project into my world, I don't have a hindrance of the people. Otherwise, well, I'm limiting my own creation, and I'm getting the reminder, don't do that. So when we think of people, the rest of humanity, or the rest of, even if you want to go interdimensional, intergalactic, imagine that everyone has this heart space inside of them that resonates totally with love, and that they have the ability to tune into this at any moment. And so when we remind ourselves of everyone has this, then we're not going to look at it in terms of a negative way as humanity or something holding us back. We're going to realize that, hey, everybody, let's tune in a little bit more, and we're going to wake up. We're going to realize a whole new reality in terms of it's going to be missing some things that we are no longer in agreement with, and it's going to be sharing a whole lot more that we are in agreement with, the love, the joy, the happiness, all those things that resonate with our heart and tickle our funny bone.
Boom, you hit the nail on the head there. Exactly. That's what I was getting at, was, you know, about changing people around us, is that, you know, that's, we need to let that go. We don't focus on that, because that comes naturally. That already happens when we're doing what we love to do. We're elevating ourselves, increasing our vibration. That in turn, that is what we get in our reality. That's the reality that we're shifting into. So that's perfect. That's exactly what I was saying, man. That was right on.
Guys, it's James. I couldn't go without saying thank you. The energy is incredible. I'm in a different time zone to you guys. Some of you guys, maybe not all of you guys, but I'm in a different time zone. And I haven't yet decided to what to do with my self-employment life. So I still have to go there tomorrow, it seems, and show my face get this energy out to other people while I'm doing it. So thank you for all the words that you use that have given me nothing more than an expansion to my feelings of self. Thank you all.
Thank you, James, man.
Yeah, thanks,
James. So yeah, what was cool was like I had this thought, I had this inspiration. It came like the download, like the lightning strike from, you know, the lightning bolt of Uranus. It came to me last night to expand on this post that I already had out there. So, you know, to draw the, you know, I've been wanting to actually write it out about how, you know, the creativity is the key to awakening others. Because if you're just trying to go out and tell them, oh, well, this is happening, you better believe me, see, look, it's happening, you know, that's going to get you the cognitive dissonance, and that's going to get you the people running away from you, because they don't want to hear that what they want is what we want. And we all want humor, we all want creativity, we want the stuff that inspires us, or else it's not gonna click, it's not gonna sink in, it's not gonna set, you know, it's not gonna resonate. So we want to get that coherence, we want to get that resonation. So what was cool is I got that, you know, little download, and it was late. It was like 3-something in the morning. So, you know, a lot of the super consciousness talks and, you know, lectures or whatever, you know, when you get that inspiration, do it, act on it at that moment, or else it'll pass you by, or else you'll miss it, essentially. So I thought to myself, I was like, oh, well, I got to write this down. Only I had been writing like all night, pretty much. I had already been writing like all day. So I just wanted to chill. I just wanted to, you know, watch some documentaries. I just wanted to chill out. So what I did was I just made a mental, I just said, super consciousness, remember this. I was like, just remember the key points of what I wanted to write down. So I was like, here's the keys, you know, the key creativity, you know, the inspirational stuff, just remember that. And you know, I was like, so store it and have it come back to me when I need it. And what was crazy, what was really awesome is, you know, I totally forgot about it. You know, like I knew I would. I was like, oh, well, now that I didn't write it down, I'm not gonna, you know, I forgot about it. But what was cool was, you know, this beautiful person commented on one of my things, and it was a resonance that was, you know, limitation. It was purely limiting of themselves, and, you know, it's projected onto my post, so therefore, you know, it projects onto the people that are going to read my post, and they're going to be, oh, well, you know, they're tinfoil hats, you know, and you know, because no one wants to feel that, no one wants to read about, you know, no one wants to feel that resonance. So again, it's like painting your canvas with dog shit. Is literally what it is. Don't come onto my post and paint my canvas with dog shit, because I'm accepting of it, but now I don't tolerate. I mean, I'm tolerant. I'm open to it, but I'm gonna transmute it. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna sit there and baby your victim consciousness. That's not what I'm gonna do. And I get a lot of that now, because a lot of people like what I'm putting out because it's really inspiring. But, you know, a lot of them they're not allowing themselves to progress by realizing, you know, their own limitation. So what was cool was, you know, I just wrote out, I sat and I calmed down, I wrote out a long paragraph, and boom, it ended up matching exactly what I was thinking the night before, and it fit in. All I did was copy and paste it into the post that I wanted to write about, and it was perfect. It was perfect synchronicity. It was beautiful. So go ahead.
So you feel more free?
Yeah, totally, man. I mean, yeah. It was badass.
There you go. So you should be thankful those people wrote those comments to you.
Definitely, I am, because it allows that contrast which triggers that inspiration. You know, without the contrast, you don't have that. You know, you don't have that muse, basically just a spark that gets the download. So it was perfect, man. It is perfect. It's all perfect.
Yeah, it's good when you can take it in a positive way. You were trying to shine more light. You didn't get upset. You were just trying to shine more light on your own consciousness, and you got it. And you got a quick reminder of that. It's beautiful. It's we're coming to a clearer conversation with the universe, so to say. It's like Kate sometimes quotes Conversations with God, and about how we've had this kind of intimate communication, whether it's with our higher self, our heart, Mother Nature, Great Spirit, God. There is this intimate communication always flowing, and it's coming clearer. For me, for sure, it's coming clearer again. And it's not like we've had these experiences before. Most of us, I'll say all of us, have had these experiences in some way or another. And many times when we went to share them or we didn't even know where to begin to talk about them with people because it wasn't in the general conversation. So a lot of times we discount the experiences of what most people have had. And man, just from my ordinary walk through this life, I've had some quite extraordinary experiences, and I'm pretty sure all of us have. And what we're remembering is, by people sharing these stories like we do and other people who come to the table, other people are going to remember their own and now realize that it is a good time to step up and share these stories and not be embarrassed or afraid or feel to be ridiculed. And it's really coming kind of to me full power in a way that if we start talking about government helping you, that becomes the farce. That's not what we generally have been talking about all these years. The conspiracy is that it was ever there to help you in the first place. It's kind of turning around, in a way, and people are kind of seeing that, and they're not. We're getting clearer on the fact of, to the base level of what it is. These thought forms and belief systems masquerading through authority and culture and governments and religions. Again, those are just institutions in a way built on top of these thought forms and belief systems. So again, we peel the layers back to this level, and the game is clearer in terms of you now can move about more freely, because people have been sharing about what is enlightenment, the untruths are falling away. The untruths are falling away, and the truth is there for you to see. And quite naturally, this keeps getting clearer and keeps happening and keeps getting clearer. And so I can look at a negative thing going on the planet and focus on that and dive into that. But generally, we know if we put our attention on that, we are in some ways, if we're not careful, maybe enforcing some old habits that we don't want to. And so that's why be aware of what is still going on in the world, but again, shift our focus on to the more in tuned and aligned aspect of ourselves that is happening. So this expands, and this becomes more of your waking life, your conscious reality here. And so even if you had a 9-to-5 job, or if you had to work 8 hours a day, instead of it feeling like an 8-hour shift was your whole day, it feels like, well, that went fast, that is over, and now I can get back to my living. Without even changing anything you do, you see how the perspective changes, and that so-called job that we have is no longer ruling our life. It's down the list of so-called who I am and what I do.
Intentions, Mike. Intentions.
Yeah. And so in this way, it's very freeing. This isn't when I realize this. I know it's not just me realizing this. This could be my ego talking, but I'm saying this. It's in one way. I'm like, well, I couldn't be the only one getting this. Of course not. And there's so many people in their own way, shapes, and forms in different parts of the world getting so much, tuning so much into this love and knowledge and truth. And just because we haven't had the conversation with them yet doesn't mean it's not happening. Just because the mainstream news isn't showing anything of this nature, and why would they? It doesn't mean it's not happening. It is happening. And the more we stop playing with the institutions that basically propped up these old systems of thoughts and beliefs like government, religion, and we connect quite naturally and recognize we never needed those in the first place. Thanks for the game. And again, this is where we really start living again. Really. And I'm really I feel good about it. I don't even want to say I'm looking forward to it because, again, it almost feels like a projection. But as Mark reminded me, it's my intent. And here in the moment, it's a beautiful feeling to realize that this is what's here for us.
That's right, Mike. You can bow out of the game gracefully, or you can go the hard way. But eventually, it's going to happen.
Well, it's coming to even more than bowing out of the game. It's in one way making a stand, and you're going to do this in your own consciousness, so to say, or in your heart, and you're going to recognize these old limiting belief systems, your thoughts and patterns without blaming it on anyone. Not talking about the matrix distortion, just in yourself, in your own space, that these limiting thoughts and belief systems are no longer serve you, no longer serve the rest of humanity or all, and we give them up. That's the natural evolution of consciousness.
Yeah, it's like Terence McKenna again will always talk about novelty theory and what he calls his time wave zero theory, where everything is increasing, everything is becoming more and more novel, and what that means is that you're going to see that point, that each moment where more things will happen. More things are possible in each and every moment than has ever been possible throughout all of existence. And that includes however you want to, everything that you can imagine, you're going to start seeing that. And we are seeing that happening. That's going to be what you might perceive of as the negative. That might be what you perceive as the positive, but either way, it's all increasing as the spiral tightens, as we go deeper and deeper. And so this is what's happening, where it's becoming more and more novel in that everything is possible. And that's neither a good nor a bad thing. It just is. We get to choose out of everything that there is. It's the universal library, and we get to choose anything out of it that we want it to be. We get to pick which section we want to read from. We get to pick up this book. It's just about what you want. It's becoming crystal clear about what it is that we want, that what we want to experience. If I don't want that to experience, well, then don't choose it for your experience. It's simple. Just observe it. It's not just do what we want to be doing. It's picking and choosing and being clear about it. And that's when it becomes more clear in our reality. We start to see the connections that before used to be just dots, and we couldn't see the connections. But when we're clear with our intentions of what we want it to be, of what we want to choose, what we want to create, by doing what we want to be doing, rather than worrying about what it is that we don't prefer. If we don't prefer it, then don't give it our attention. So that way it doesn't perpetuate, and that way it doesn't gain momentum and it doesn't snowball. Focus on that which you prefer rather than what you don't prefer. Be the change that you want to see.
Right, you said it. And so what some people would say, but still some so-called bad things happening. It's just like, yeah, so it becomes clear that, yeah, you created that one also. So do you want to stop creating that? So inside this moment we're in, yes, we still have the ability to do both, create something positive and something negative. But even in that negative, it's to remind you of the same thing. Hey, look what you're doing. So in the discernment that we have, we're recognizing clearer what we don't want also. And as so we're getting these things, oh yeah, I don't want that anymore. And we will not think about it and focus on it anymore. So when these so-called negative things come up, or things you don't want in your reality, again, recognize it, make a decision, yep, I don't want that anymore, and don't give it another thought if you can.
Yeah, it's like a knock, knock, hello, McFly, anybody home?
Yeah, good reminder. So I remember somebody saw it somewhere. So Back to the Future, in the movie, the date that he went into the future, we have already passed. So he came back in 2014 or something in the movie. That's the future he went to. And so even in that movie, we have already surpassed the so-called future. For this, really, at least for me, I really can't think in terms of a linear time frame, in terms of years, even months. When the next one happens, I'll go, okay, we're here. All right, we're still marking time, so to say, by this. Well, what I'm getting at here is we went back to the future and now gone back. It's some weird time trip that we've experienced, and what it's reminding me of is it was a really make-believe reality we were living. And usually when we talk about make-believe, we think of fairy tales, we think of children's stories. But when we did come to find out, and people were like, hey, waking up again, hey, you co-create your reality. Really? Yeah, that's a make-believe, because we were doing it on our old belief systems, and we kept making believe and perpetuating that. So in this regards, we kind of do it to ourselves. We can externalize and blame something, but as long as we are still choose to own those habits, I mean, it's on you. And at the end of the day, it was anyway. So accept responsibility and move on.
Yeah, it's like the unconscious. You know, what we don't prefer is the portion of us that is still unconscious, and it happens in our experience to us, so that we can become conscious of it, move it from the unconscious into our conscious awareness, and then we can shift it, and then we can choose which we prefer from it, rather than having it rule us from the unconscious mind. It shifts into the conscious mind to where we can choose, and we can shift into what we prefer.
Right, and we're doing this with knowledge now. We're doing this with the knowledge that we are doing this. And now this is, again, as it's reflected, going from the Piscean to the Aquarius, moving from the left to the right, balancing this divine feminine aspect. This is different ways we can relate this to this, that this is happening. We are now moving to, we know this, and so our imagination isn't, so with our imagination and this knowledge, we really are, it gets clearer. It gets clearer. That's,
I like having this discussion with you guys because, you know, we get to be in the imagination. You know, we get to be on the, just in the pure higher awareness, you know, rather than, you know, talking about all the, you know, what's happening. You know, that's why I like this conversation, right? I want to talk about age. Like, what do you guys think about age? Like, you know, how are you experiencing the idea, the concept of age?
I don't buy into it. And it's an old program.
Bullshit.
Bullshit. I don't say it doesn't. It does happen. People do go through it. I've gone through my own bits, but for me personally, from my own experience, I would hear death and taxes, and then I say I don't buy any of those.
Both of them.
You don't buy it. I mean, believe it. I'm not believing either of those two. And then it was the aging, and I used to say I don't buy that one either. I don't believe that. I'm a timeless being. Why do I have to age? And we don't have to. But somehow in this collective experience, in that overriding program of before, you would age. You would go through this experience of aging. It's not a bad thing, but we would go through it. But we realize now that we don't, I'm not going to call it a limit, but we don't have to limit ourselves by that, because we are beyond that. And that's why, as you were sharing earlier, we're coming to the singularity, guys. We're the spirit and flesh right here. This is one. That old ball game's finished. You can choose to do it as you are.
Yeah, I would
Mike,
say
you made me laugh.
it is limitation. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. It's all bullshit. What's crazy is, you know, like, age to me is so such a ridiculous concept. It's so weird because I myself am, you know, linear time. If you want to think linearly, I'm 25 years old, but literally I am so much older. I'm an old wise man, literally, in this body. I'm a wise soul in this body. But linearly, I'm 25. But physically, I'm actually a lot younger. Like, I've preserved myself. I'm literally, like, not even 18. Like, I don't age. And this is also in my birth chart. It goes back to the birth chart. Literally, will tell you everything about yourself. Like, literally, it's your roadmap, and it's your guide. And what's crazy is that, you know, I can see all of it, past, present, future, all condensed into this one moment in this now. It's like, what is age? Well, it's just perception. That's all it is. Everything is just our perception of what it can be, you know? Am I still on?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I was looking for the mute, and you know what sometimes I stupidly do? I hang up the phone on myself. It's like the same red button.
I do that too, man. I do that too, especially on my phone. It was a nightmare. Like, the buttons
I've been
are
like
right
so
there.
excited a few times too. Like, yeah. I just hung it out. So I'm glad in these moments I can laugh. Like you're saying, if you need to remember something, just know that you will. In the moment, it's ready for you to use. We gotta. Because what happens in this little memory trick, we beat ourselves up in little ways. Instead of, you know what some people would say, like they'll forget something or do something, they'll say like, oh, I'm stupid, or that's stupid of me. And it's I was just like, why don't we just say, aren't I pretty? Or aren't I beautiful? It's like you do something so-called stupid and just change it around. Oh, aren't I beautiful? Aren't I funny? Just to don't have these little self-defeating attitudes towards ourselves that build up.
Yeah,
and
that reminds me of that episode of Seinfeld where whenever someone sneezes and Jerry says, well, how come instead of saying bless you, why don't we say you're so good looking?
There you go. Yeah. We could change that. Like, for example, every time someone sneezes, we could now make that the new lingo. Like, not say you're so good looking, but yeah, I mean, if that got a laugh, sure, that would be even better. Something that just brought funniness to the situation. So yeah, simple things like that, because one of the things is our own self-worth and our own self-love, and we can forget this. Or at least I've had a tendency to not remember this always, and think of some part of me that's not quite good enough compared to whoever, or some ideal I have for myself, usually some limiting defeating thought. And what I realized was, whether it was I thought it was imposed from society or self-imposed, it's there. And so I think the message both times to me was, don't have these thoughts. Don't buy that program. You got to remember to love yourself and treat yourself with kindness. So don't beat yourself up if you spill something. Don't beat yourself up if you make a mistake and say bad words about yourself. This is the simple things that we have the power to change for ourselves, and it is big. Because that's who makes the difference. You. Your thoughts of you are the ultimate ones that you need to remember. And when we do that, we get the reflection outside. I know it's kind of, at least for myself, it was, and it's still, I know I can do more of it, but yeah, the more I love myself, the more others are going to love me. And this isn't an arrogance. This is an egotistical thing. This is just recognizing my true self-worth, recognizing my soul sovereign being, and recognizing I'm remembering I'm part of this beautiful planet, and love myself for that, for this. We all can do this.
Yeah, it's like offers to contract, It's like you don't have to accept any offers to contract. It's you change your own definition. Your D-finite ion. So,
it's
you don't have to...
difficult. It's not difficult.
Go ahead.
It's not difficult, is it?
Definitely not. As long as you're aware of it, you can change anything.
Yeah, the difficult part, if you want to call it difficult, is dropping some parts of the old game. Because that's kind of the things that put the resistor on it. And when you kind of, that shadow or darkness...
The contrast, Mike.
That contrast, yeah, when you start playing with that contrast and come into balance again, it's simple. It's easier. It's no longer difficult because you're no longer playing with the contrast.
Mm.
You saw it, and like you're no longer on the left side or the right side. You're standing in the balance on the rim. If we're looking at it as a coin, or we're standing in the heart again. We're man, I love it. So beautiful boys' night here for the moment. Are there any of our feminine aspects of ourselves would like to chime in, share their voice, share their heart,
provide some balance?
Yeah. Please put your hand up. We love it. And where else can we go here? It's something that me and Mark were mentioning until somebody else calls in and wants to bring up some other subject. I want to bring up money. And the nature of the unnature of money, and how we really got to look at certain things for what they really are. Again, you can then turn it around and use it for something else, for your own good, with your own intent. But what it is in general, again, authority and money are not your friend. They were never put on this planet to, in one way, make your life better. No, they weren't. It was part of the game structure for us to see contrast and enjoy this ride. But in terms of understanding it, recognize it for what it was. It was a tool of slavery. That's what it is. And the more we recognize certain things on the base level, really at their fundamental level, for what is their purpose, what was the purpose of this introduction into system, so to say, and that's what it was about. Now we own it, and we can recognize that it's an externalization of our own inner power, and recognize that we are beyond that game, and that I don't have to devalue myself. And so we can even take this so-called negative thing that's meant to enslave us and recognize how, as a contrast, it shows us our own inner worth, our own whole being. It can do that. But we got to recognize its fundamental level and the distortion in so-called society, and how its function was to entrap and to enslave. And it is still, when we use it today. Again, I don't fear it. I already know the game is up. I already know the end result. We already have recognized it, seen it, and not just me, many people. And we talk about it, the 0 point, the heart center, when we've all shared a laugh. Everyone has laughed. Everyone has actually experienced this in this lifetime. They've had that moment. I hope they have. And if they haven't, well, they're going to get that contrast pretty soon, I feel, and they're going to get the beauty. Because for me, that one contrast that hasn't happened, that's why I really feel in my heart this is happening, is, well, guys, are we done playing in the muck, in the misery, in the pain? Because there's this whole other world waiting, full of love, joy, and happiness and laughter. Welcome.
The grass is greener in our little field. Hey guys, I've got two callers here, 773-457-2059. I'll just open up your mic.
Yep, 773 and then 321. We see you on the board. So 773. We've got a few mics open, if you're there.
Blue-Green Lori here.
Hey,
hello.
Lori.
Can you hear me?
Loud and beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to comment on the age thing. You're only as old as the games that you play.
Oh, yeah.
And on the concept of time is a man-made concept to sell clocks, calendars, and watches, because there is only the now.
That's right. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Anno Domini, anal domination.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So what are we doing then? Are we shoving time in the toilet? Eh? Are we going to flush it?
Yeah, flush it, man. That's an old turd that we don't want to smell anymore.
Yeah, another one, just like in the dustbin. Move on.
Well, that's what I was kind of sharing earlier, and about how, man, somebody was, a friend of mine today, who's like, told me the year he was born, told me his age, told me the year he was, told me his age, and so I guessed the year. And I was off big time, man. And I was just like, wow, what year did I think it was? By the calculations, I must have thought it was 2011. My friend's 71. He goes, I'm 71. So I was like, you're born in 1940? It's like, no, man, 1942. And then I realized, wow, what year am I thinking it is right now? Like, really, if that is a man-made construct.
It's defying nature again, Mike, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one way that we've put a construct over nature to define it. And it's one. It's only one. And the way we've been brought up, it was kind of a big one, the overarching one. It's time. Time marches on. We go by time. And again, it made us think that there was nothing else. In a sense, in a tense. And so we thought there was nothing else, only time. And now we realize, oh, that was a man-made construct. We can talk about the sun rising and the sun going down, the day. We can even split the circle up into 360. We can see the zodiac. We can see the 12. But we don't have to then throw it onto a clock-like structure on our wrist or on a calendar. That is a man-made structure. And that's not a natural... nature doesn't mark time that way.
Yeah, it's like getting caught inside the zodiac wheel and spinning around going around the wheel of karma, like being churned around inside of it like you're inside a washing machine, as opposed to rising above and being the god, riding the zodiac on top of it like a chariot. Let it spin around beneath you, but do not get caught inside of the wheel of time, inside of the cycles of karma and the cycles that go, the cycles are there to help us grow so that we can, transcend and again, ride it like the chariot, like the god that we are, like Apollo.
Yeah, man. You just described, India has the same story. It has that wheel of time, and you were just describing me, and I'm like, and then just like Apollo, just like these other gods, we've had it in different stories throughout the planet, sharing the same, what Colin just shared. And this is being the master of your universe. And when we talk master of self, that's what we're talking. When we talk authority of self, we talk self-government, now we're talking. When we externalize this in any way, shape, or form, we're fucking up. It's just plain and simple how it is. Government without is about slavery. Any of these other things, it's mind control. It's the game, and it's come clear. This ain't a fear thing. It's not fearful for me. It's just showing you the structure of the game and what we were in, and what we're coming out of.
It's like we said a couple of weeks ago, it's 12 o'clock somewhere now.
Yeah.
And as somebody just posted, that the sun never sets or rises.
Always. You're right.
It's only a perception, our angle of view.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yep. So somebody was sharing about the Lisa was last night, and at Transcending, and we were talking about this and about the one way they measure the resonant frequency. I think it's the Schumann or something frequency, and we were talking about how our perception of the day, how we see things speed up, and you can actually turn this around and see how it's actually slowed down in other ways. Because when you come to the stillness, you might be perceiving it as a slowing down, but one way we've recognized is that in terms of perception-wise, it's been about a 13-hour day, so to say. It goes fast. We're experiencing a so-called 24-hour day in 13 hours approximately now. And it's just, I find this really fascinating and beautiful and heartwarming, because what she also shared with me was everything to do with measuring the frequency of this planet. And when you're measuring the frequency of this planet, you're going to measure her heart. And it's totally coming into resonance with ours. And the galactic center, and the sun, and the galactic sun, and it's not just a little game we're playing here. This is a multi-dimensional, all-encompassing unfoldment arising, and it feels good, guys. It's wonderful. Really have positive, clear. What I'm getting at is I don't even have any thoughts. Like, thoughts ain't even coming to my head in terms of the clarity when I look at the human potential. Not just the human potential, the potential of what we have before us, what we have laid out before us. When I go to put thoughts to it, they're not even there, because that's how clear and open it is for us when I reflect on it.
That's being in that 0 point, man. You're in the potential, the pure potentiality. That the way I used to, or about a year ago, it started to hit me like so profound that, at first, it can seem crazy, because you see all possibility, and whenever you do get the thought, it's you literally instantly, like for me, what happens with me is I will think something, and then I'll instantly see the contrast of it. Like I'll think something, or I'll write something, and I'll instantly see the other side of it, or an infinite number of perspectives of it. So it makes it seem, like kind of like you're crazy, or it makes it seem very confused. It can be confusing, if you get caught in it, because you don't know what is real. It's like when someone does first awaken, to more things that are going on in their own reality. It's like, well, they don't know who to trust, because there's nothing to trust anymore, because that illusion was proven to be shattered. So then you present new information to somebody, and they want to kill the messenger, essentially, because you're the one that delivers the message. So then, therefore, they can't believe, what they thought was real anymore. So then they don't know whether to believe you, or whether what they believed in was real. So then, you just don't know what's real. So it's not, it's don't get caught in thinking that it's crazy or it's a bad. That's perfect. That's exactly where you want to be, because you're in the center of all possibility. Everything is possible. You're at the 0 point where you're not choosing sides. You're not limiting yourself to any one perspective. You're instantly open to everything. That's ideal. That's the ideal position. That's where we want to be. We want to be that without thought, to where you already know. So why would you have to explain it to anyone when you know it? We don't have to. Yeah.
This is where we transcend knowledge. This is where we transcend knowledge and we be. That's how you use the knowledge that you have. Everyone actually has enough knowledge at their disposal right now, inside, outside, whichever way they want to look at it. It's what you do next, and you just nailed it, man. It's just like, now be.
Yeah, I would say it's like the projections. It's the program running, the social programming that projects it onto you that we're less than, because we're simply just being perfect as is already, and always were perfect. But But that's the programming, that thinking that we need to go out and do this, or we need to earn this, we need to earn that.
Yeah,
we got to
strive. Let's strive.
Yes, yeah. So, that's all masculine programs.
Even after Enlightenment, even after, I don't know, be the next Jesus, even after, I don't know, I'm the next reincarnation of Buddha, or whatever someone's trying to strive for. And so in this regards, it even fell over into the realms of spirituality, where we had this striving. Well, I guess it was just showing us what else was also going on in the universe in terms of hierarchical games beings play. And what we come to understand here is that at any point in your existence, with the knowledge you've already gained or the knowledge you inherently have, to really make a next step, we have to take a moment to just be. Just be. Just be happy with yourself. Be happy for a moment, even, to allow a type of transcendence to occur within you, where you stop this impulse of, I have to attain something, I have to thrive, I got to go somewhere, I got to be something. And so that gives that program, you give it a chance to basically stop for a moment, and then you allow the new one to kick in.
Muji has a great. He said there's a great video by Agape Insatori on YouTube. It's real popular. It's one of Muji, and it's called Inner Seeing. And what he repeats over and is, forget about spirituality, forget about enlightenment. It's just your own inner seeing. And it's essentially, that's all that we always were. We already are. We always have been. We're already ascended. We always have been. This is the greatest realization that is out there. And Alan Watts will cover this beautifully as well, that this is what the gurus will do. You go to the guru seeking enlightenment, seeking for attainment, and the guru he'll run you through the mill, because that's what you're asking for. By going to the shrink, you're suggesting that, well, I need to have my head examined because there's something wrong with me. And and Alan Watts has great. He puts it beautifully. It's the guru will give you what you want. You go to the guru seeking enlightenment, he'll run you through the mill until eventually you finally realize you already had it. You were already perfect. It's this projection of, I need to attain something. It's all just an illusion of, well, I'm gonna float through the clouds and all of this. Well, that's just the illusion. That's running through the mill. When the fact is, you've already been doing it. It's already perfect. It's not that airy fairy. It's down to earth. It's what is already real. Terence McKenna calls it the felt presence of direct experience. No one knows more than you do. We don't have to trust anyone outside of us, because no one knows more than you do. We can't say that something else outside of us has actually happened unless we directly experience it. The felt presence of direct experience. What is felt in the body. Through our own vehicle. This is our vessel. We are God. All of creation works through us and only through us. Without us, there is nothing. It only works through us. Go ahead.
Right. So with that, there is action involved. There is sharing involved. We could go, yep, we are it, we're all it, and we could go, well, then I don't have to do anything. No, there is an action involved, and that means sharing. I mean sharing in any way, shape, or form, I'll call it love energy. It can come in any, a smile, giving someone a banana.
That's right, Mike. Just a smile.
Being kind. This is what I mean. Instead of thinking that well, there's nothing I have to do. Yes, there is. This is what we talk about when we talk about you've now served yourself. Now service to others will naturally flow out of this. And I'm glad this Emerald Table has provided me that opportunity. And because what can happen is we can go into even this, I'm enlightened, I'm already all of this, I am God, and end up getting an ego game played on us. Or at least I've had the experience. And and it comes down to, again, that, you know, there isn't a balance. There's a balance to this. You don't go shouting from the rooftops, like we did sometimes, I'd tell everybody everything, and then I realized, I guess I didn't need to tell that person this because it wasn't for me to share it to them. So I learned my own discernment in different ways. But what I'm getting at is it is beneficial for all of us to share kindness, love, and truth. These, what I'll call simple acts of pleasure we can share with each other to really bring this home. Really, really bring this home.
I have
somebody a
quote
hug
I'd like
tomorrow.
to read.
Yes, please.
I'm sorry, did I cut somebody off?
No worries. I just said give somebody a hug tomorrow.
Oh, free hugs all day, all 24/7 in the fictional time realm. I love that free hugs Brandon the other night, and that's one of my favorite YouTube videos is the free hugs. Has everybody seen that?
Yeah, I've seen the photos and stuff. I got to watch the videos.
Go find the original one. It's great on YouTube. It's only like a few minutes, but it's so awesome. The people are like walking by and nobody's hugging him, and then all of a sudden one person comes up, and it's just fantastical when you see. If you haven't seen that, I can't believe it. Go watch Free Hugs. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them now, but the original's got millions of hits, and it's just fantastical.
Yeah, go for it.
I can't pronounce the name properly. I'm not good with the phonics. And it's funny because I worked for a woman, Mrs. Chittick. She just died at 100 years old about 5 years ago. And when I worked for her, because she had a macular degeneration and she couldn't see, so I was her eyesight. And she used to always tell me, Lori, it's in the phonics. It's in the phonics. It's in the phonics. She used to tell me this. She was the first woman IRS agent. She was the first woman to work on the New York Stock Exchange. She led the parade of 4,000 women down in Washington, D.C. Back in the 70s for women's equal rights. She just wanted the Equal Rights Amendment for women to be passed, for women to have equal rights before she died. And, of course, well, that's not going to happen now, is it? And we all know why now. And she had a long list of all kinds of things. She was known as the Little General here at the Patrick Air Force Base. I mean, I learned so much from her, but the clue that she was here to give me that got me awoken, and this was back in the early 90s, was it's all in the phonics. And so when I came upon Mark Passio breaking down the words with the green language, the language of the birds, and then I came on Santos and everything just synced right up. And then comes Kate, I mean, totally just reversing the spells. I mean, and then the other night when someone named the table, the Emerald Table, I thought, that's it, Blue Green Lori, Ocean Lady at the Green Emerald Table. I mean, it just keeps getting better and better and better. Every night I'm listening, guys. Okay, so like I say, I'm not good with the pronouncing of these names. Swami Vivekananda's partial translation of the Nirvana Shitkum by Shankara recited at Green Acre, Maine, and reported in an 1894 issue of the Green Acre Voice. Under the Swami's famous pine at Green Acre, Vivekananda said, "I am neither body nor changes of the body, nor my senses nor objects of the senses. I am existence absolute, bliss absolute, knowledge absolute. I am it, I am it. I am neither death nor fear of death, nor was I ever born, nor I had parents. I am existence absolute, bliss absolute, knowledge absolute. I am it, I am it. I am not misery, nor have I misery. I am not enemy, nor have I enemies. I am existence absolute, bliss absolute, knowledge absolute. I am it, I am it. I am without form, without limit, beyond space, beyond time. I am everything. I am the bliss of the universe. Everywhere I am. I am existence absolute, bliss absolute, knowledge absolute. I am it, I am it." And then at the down on the bottom, there's a short little excerpt, and then it says, "What is the nation? What is law? We have laws only that we may become outlaws above law. There is the freedom of the soul. Through this we know the freedom of law. I am of the nation of those who seek the liberty of the soul. I am of the nation of those who worship God. The divine ones of God are all my masters. I learn of your Christ in learning of Krishna, of Buddha, in learning of Mohammed. I worship God alone. I am existence absolute, bliss absolute, knowledge absolute. I condemn nothing that I find in nation, state, or religion, finding God in all. Our growth is not from evil to good, but from good to better, and so on and on. I learn from all that is called evil or good. The nation of all such nonsense may go. It is love, 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 God and my brother."
Oh wow, that's perfect. That's incredible, Synchronicity. I actually wrote one myself that is literally almost exactly like that. What it is that's the paradox. That's in the 0 point. That's neither this nor that. That is this and that. That is everything. So what I wrote, I want to share one that I wrote which matches that perfectly. It's, I am that which I am. This body does not enable me to live. I do not require this body to live. For that am I, which gives this body life. I am the formless which breathes memory into form. I am the breath that fills these lungs. I am the mind of God, the Word made flesh. I am the space which occupies this flesh. I am the space in which this flesh occupies. I am the infinite possibility encoded within probability. I am infinite expansion within a finite space. I am the angular spin to whose rhythm my heart beats. I am the singularity to which all things gravitate. I am the resonance to which all things levitate. I am the paradox. I am that which I am.
I am all.
And I am nothing.
Exactly.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Thank you for sharing that, guys.
Hell yeah.
It's right on the rim of the coin.
Yes. Standing in the neutral, standing in the heart. I love that. Standing on the rim of the coin. It's like, which side? Yeah, the rim.
Yeah,
so we got about 3 minutes left in the show.
I've got another call here, Mike. 530-605-6746.
Yeah, just 503 area code. That's 530 area code. Yep, your mic's open.
Hello.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Hi.
Aloha.
I was just, aloha, Mike, and Mark, and Cullen, and everybody, Kate. I just was sitting in the library, and that was really beautiful sharing, and I just wanted to say that. And I was sitting there, and I just turned my head, and there was all the Emerald City books, the Wizard of Oz, and I was like, well, I guess I got to call in and tell those guys. So I guess I have my silver slippers on, and I'm in my cab floating through the galaxy and right to the Emerald Table. So it's a great night, great show, you guys. Oh yeah.
Is this Rachel?
Yeah. All right.
Is this
Love
Rachel?
You guys.
Is this Rachel?
Love you.
This is
Hello.
Janet.
Yeah, you can share more.
Yeah,
Janet.
you don't have to go straight
Janet.
away.
What's up, Janet?
Janet.
Hi, guys.
Okay.
I love her
So
laugh.
I just wanted to do a quick shout out before I know Kate or Ninja was going to remind us. So we can play the jingle, and do you see that jingle there, Mark, on the board? Let's see if we can actually get this right. But yeah, guys, as Kate and Ninja Bambi reminds us, hey, without Paul Giovanni and the crew over at over at criticalmassradio.co.uk, we're not here. We're at another table, but I'm so glad they set up this table, and this Emerald Table has come clearer. And thank you, Paul, and thank you, everybody over at Critical Mass. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Santos. And, guys, anything you can throw their way, £1 a month, $1.69, when we're still playing with this Monopoly money. And send it somewhere where you feel it's going to really make a difference, especially when it's something on I like that, $1.69 if we're talking U.S. If we're talking pounds, it's pound. And, well, put your pound where it can actually pound the nails on the system, and we can start really dancing in the streets. We can start dancing in the fields, dancing in the mountains, dancing in the valleys, because this song is playing now. This song that's coming from the heart of this planet, this beautiful being, Sophia Gaia. It is playing, and we will all tune into it clearer and clearer, and naturally we will all be dancing and laughing.
Everybody go watch the video, Free Hugs, and then go listen to Lauryn Hill's song, I Get Out, because that was my favorite song before I found Kate, too. If you haven't heard that by Lauryn Hill, I Get Out. Go listen to that song because it's awesome.
Nice. I also want to plug my page real quick. If you guys if anyone's, kind of wants to inspire their own creativity, and you feel like you've got like writer's block or whatever, you just want to advance your own creative. My page isn't my page. Lifting the Veil is for all of you guys. It's just like this table. It's an extension of this table. I made Kate an admin as well, so if she wants to get on there and put up any of her writings, find some pictures that match the writings perfectly. I've put a couple of them out there. It's your platform as well, guys. It's an extension of this table. And so we share everything that we share here on the table on the page, Lifting the Veil. Stop by. There's tons of goodies there. It's all for free, just like all of Kate's stuff. Just go there, share all of it as much as you can. Share it everywhere you can. It's a platform for you guys to launch your own expansion, to get people drawn to you guys so that you can be the lighthouse, just like the rest of us are. We're all the lighthouses. So if you want infinite amount of information to just put out there, just pass it out like candy. I put these posts up in such a format to where they see the awesome pictures and the information that goes with it, so that you can just click share, you can just pass it out like candy. These things are like flyers, man. Just put them out there everywhere. I just want to, plug that real quick. So you guys stop by, like the page. It's your platform. Start sharing your own stuff. You know, it's not my page. It's for everyone else, so that this thing grows. It snowballs, so that, you know, we draw connections from all groups, all pages. You know, tag all your friends in all of the posts and all of the photos. Tag. Draw connections. That's how we remember ourselves. So, thanks everyone. That's what I want to say. You know, get it out there, get it done.
What is it? Liftingtheveil.com?
It's Facebook. Go to facebook.com/takinghumanityback.
All right.
Or just
play this.
Go for
Thank
it.
you, Colin.
I'm going to try and play this jingle. Let's see if it works. If it does, it's about a minute long. Let's see if it works. Little soft intro here, guys.
Ooh, Hans Zimmer. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? I was wondering.
It's from the Superman soundtrack, the latest Man of Steel.
All right, also, where else did I hear this? Dead Can Dance?
Maybe Gladiator?
Yeah, do you guys remember
You've
Dead
done
Can
quite
Dance?
a few.
Yeah, Gladiator.
Their walls are falling. The momentum is now with us. It's our time now. At the most pivotal point in history is Critical Mass Radio, 24/7 Truth Radio. Help us to help you. Please go to www.criticalmassradio.co.uk and subscribe £1, £2 or £3 a month. The critical mass has been reached. We must come together. We must stand together. For ourselves, for each other, for our future generations. criticalmassradio.co.uk. Now, it's our turn.
Okay, wonderful, guys. You can also call in. There's still some spots remaining. 661-467-2401. You can get into Blog Talk and then hit the Skype button. You can connect to Critical Mass online through Blog Talk, or just go to the... Yeah, you can Skype in that way, I believe, to do the rollover. We'll see. We got about 14 minutes left in the show. We'll see how long we roll over, see how it goes, see who shows up at the table and wants to share. Otherwise than that, a few other people got their hand up. Anybody else like to chime in?
Hey, Mike. Hey, Mark.
Hey.
Hey, Kay.
Hey.
Santos. Anybody else? This is 773. I wanted to give a shout out, but everything was just flowing so beautifully that I really didn't want to interrupt the flow. But yeah, you know, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things real briefly. I am awesome. I don't know the young lady that spoke, but whatever she read was fabulous. She's the one who's talking about the hugs on YouTube.
Yeah.
But, Mike, I agree with you 1,000,000,000% as far as you were talking about loving yourself or not calling ourselves stupid or saying, oh, that wasn't a bright thing to do. But, yes, I think the words that we say can either be a blessing to your life and the ones around you, or you can look at it as a stumbling block. And certainly we've had enough of those, and that's not where we're headed. So telling yourself that you're beautiful, telling others that they're beautiful, reaching out to touch somebody, to smile at somebody, to hug somebody, to make a difference. This table, I think, is setting a preference for all of the other blog talks. I think that what has been started here is just going to skyrocket. Thank you so much, Paul Giovanni, for having such faith in Kate and the table that she would set up. You are one of the most awesome guys that is out there to set up a table like this. But I see that the purity of the people that come here. There are a lot of people in this world, and seeing the critical mass, first of all, critical mass is only like 1,200. This table has blown the socks off of critical mass. But I do believe that we are all one. There are some people in this world that are great givers. There are some people in this world that are great takers. The takers, I think I'm seeing turning. I've noticed it in some of the smaller suburbs in Illinois and even some of the larger, the city. But a lot of people are buzzing about systems, time. Those things are irrelevant. Those are man-made things. Knowing that the system is coming down, even as we speak, with the people that have already, unfortunately, if they've had to, step into the bows of the boat, so to speak, even those people are having success. Even though systems change, I believe that all of what is occurring at this table is by far the best thing out on Blog Talk, or the best thing out on the Internet. So I love what I hear. I'm missing Kate tonight, but glad to hear that she's chilling out.
I'm still here. I'm just sitting back and letting you guys show yourselves that this table was always yours. I just said it. Now it's yours, so enjoy it, you know?
Sweet Kate.
I'm never far, I promise.
No, I love to hear that.
I'm always there.
You guys are just awesome. I mean, it's nice to hear the guys that are hosting tonight or that are actually speaking tonight or sitting at the table so sensitive. The life that we had was so challenging and so difficult. I think that's the value, is to help one another. That's the value, is to support, encourage, love.
Are you cool?
You know, I love you guys. I just absolutely love everybody that is at this table this evening.
I mean,
be more, all of you. Not bless you, but be more.
That's the beauty of sharing, coming to our table, sharing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love to see tables like this because I'm a great giver.
I told you were right. I told you were perfect. I told you were all things. Like I said, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make gods. It's my purpose. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job. Look at all you gods. This is, this is awesome.
Yeah.
You have no idea how much fun, honestly, how much fun it is just to listen. And unbelievable. Yeah, and definitely a big hats off to Paul Giovanni. I mean, sight unseen, really didn't know heads nor tails about what I was about, what I was doing, what I'd been through, and here we got slammed on the Friday night, dumped out of a show, and then Saturday night we're back on the air with Critical Mass. And as soon as we got here, I knew this is the last home I needed to be at. And the only thing that happened from there is, we had to add no borders to remove all the nations. Sorry, I don't shun any nay. I say nay. Winnie, winnie, nay, nay. Something to do with the horrors of Babylon, I think. Anyway, we're connecting dots, and you guys. Someone, I think it was Adam, said it was nice. What was the quote? I'll tell you how I answered him. He says, "Very nice of you to allow others to express themselves on CMR." Okay, my answer was, very nice of them to finally step up, actually. And gods don't need permission, and I certainly don't grant any or expect any. So it's like, do your thing, baby, dance your dance, sing your song. Be the kid and play, and this is what this table is all about, and I'm so glad. I'm hoping to personally shag everyone on this planet at some point. You want to talk about the whore of Babylon? Well, I'm the horse. Come on for a ride. I'm here for y'all. I love you all.
Love you back.
So there's quite a few other people in the call. We're about to roll over soon. So, yep, you got to press 1 to put your hand up so we can unmute the mic. Otherwise than that, Kate, you outside tonight or are you inside?
Oh, I'm here in the call, so I'm just going to sit back and.
You got a fire going tonight, or?
Oh no, I'm inside. No, I'm different location, and yeah, it's got my shawl on. I'm good. It's all toasty. Everything's great. I'm indoors. Yay!
Hello.
Hello. Who's got all the noise going on? Okay. That's area code 530. I think was that, or was that 301?
301915.
Okay. Yeah. Shout out to 301. Get somewhere quiet. You know, it sounds great. It's really busy where you are, but doesn't work on radio. Yeah, guys, we've got 6 minutes until rollover, so those who want to jump in, you can call in at 661-467-2401, and of course on the page you're listening on Blog Talk, just refresh the page if you don't see the Skype button, and hit the Skype button, and it'll bring you to the table. You'll need to either have a Blog Talk, Facebook, or Twitter account to do that, and then once you get bored, just hit 1 on your dial pad. That lets Mike and Mark know that you want to, talk some love with them. And on Skype, all you have to do is hit the plus sign, opens up a little window, hit show dial pad opens, hit 1, and that lets the boys know that you want in as well. And I'm just gonna sit back and check in and have at her. Your buds, take it away.
Thanks, Kate.
I'm going to just try opening that line again, Mike.
Okay. Well, as you're doing that,
hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
This is Barbara.
Barbara.
Hey, Barbara.
I was thinking of you right this instant. I was just like, instant moment. I was just like, I want to speak with Barbara. I'm about to say, hey, it's Barbara. Yes.
Wow. Much noise is that I'm sitting up in a bingo hall at the Catholic Church, and I had to leave out of that room so I could listen to you dial babies. Yes, I am.
Beautiful.
At church.
Thank you for hearing me.
I'm telling you.
So I love this heart connection, this heart soul essence to heart soul essence that we're all sharing here. We've been sharing here, and it's just connecting all over the planet because this is what it is.
I agree with that. I really do, and I am so glad to hear all you gentle. You are some gentle men. I mean, you're gentlemen, but you are some gentle men in expressing yourself. I know you do pillow talk very well.
That's for sure.
Because the way that you people are expressing yourself to us is so charming. I am so proud to know that the young is paying attention. As Kate says, pay attention and you get a lot of things done. Pay attention. And that's what the young people are doing, paying attention. So I'm feeling my Godhood. I've been here a long time and expect to be here much longer, thanks to finding people like me. And that's you. You are just like me. What I want to do, I told you I'm in the Washington, D.C. area. I've lived to be great. I got 9 great-grandchildren. I got 6 grandchildren, and I got 1 daughter. So you know she was laying and playing a lot. And she wasn't copycatting off of her mother either. She was copycatting off her daddy, because he did it like that. You know, he had baby mamas all over town. So it's a good thing, though. I have no complaints. Somebody's got to do the work. Somebody's got to replenish the earth. That is one of the requirements of our Creator: be fruitful and multiply. So when I saw that my children was doing that, I was very pleased with, even though they started at a very young age. But then I had read some information when I was younger that the reason that women have babies at 14, 15, 16 years old, just because the body is so pure. They don't have opportunity to put alcohol or drugs or cigarettes. You see what I'm saying? They're saying that's the advantage of having children when you're young, because your temple is so clear. You ever heard that before?
No, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to live in a more balanced, harmonious way of life. I mean, that's the feeling, because what you just described really sounds natural in terms of if we weren't living in a society of pressurized, existence.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
Yes,
that's exactly what I was thinking, Mike. It's nature again, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're trying to define that. You're trying to define nature, aren't you?
Right, and so it's another way. We've had all the examples, guys, girls. We've had all the examples, and it's showing us another aspect. And we're looking at a situation that maybe in some ways we were looking at a polarized view, and Barbara just brought a very balanced and beautiful view of it to see how, hey, we are all pure. So another way to look at it. So guys, for those of you guys not rolling over, thank you all so much. Aloha. Beautiful. Please tune in. Please share any which way you can. The love, the truth, and wholeness and balanced vibrations all. And for those of you staying on, let's keep this flowing. Anybody else got something? Please, Barbara, continue. Beautiful.
Well, I had listened to the love poems that everybody was reading and thinking about tonight, and that's a beautiful frame of mind to be in. I also heard the young man, I don't know if it was Mark or Mike, which one was talking about the drama. I give it examples of different drama situations. Now, that is one area in life that I try to avoid, is that drama area. I mean, I have seen so much, remember, I'm 63, I've seen so much of that. Not necessarily experienced it all myself, but I've seen enough to know that that's really not my cup of tea. I like the love stories and that comedy. Now, comedy just lays me out. I think at times that I have comedy ability, but I've come to realize it's not so much that I'm so good, would be a good comedian. I think I would be a good writer for a comedian. Like I would write about, what's my girl name? Tina Turner, beautiful leg Tina Turner, who gave up her American citizenship to become a Switzerland. And I said, Ike must have knew. That's why he was putting his foot up in her ass so much, because he knew she was going to end up trying to fuck a damn goat, those goat herders. The Swiss men, they weren't skirts. They were suspenders and Bermuda shorts. Shit, they legs prettier than hers. She picked the wrong company to be trying to hook up with some Swiss people, because they don't want nothing but their goats, and they plaid skirts, and they plaid suspenders, and they yodeling, "Your lady." And that's what she wanted to do. She give up American citizenship for that. Go on, Tina, do what you got to do.
Hey,
that's
baby,
the type of comedy that I would give to Chris Rock.
You can do some writing for me anytime, and I will perform it for you.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, I do that all the time. I just listen and look. I'm everybody's godmother. I done adopted Justin Bieber. I done adopted Miley Cyrus. I done adopted all the what they call the troubled children. But there's no trouble with them. They just living, not just existing. And there is a great big difference in living and existing. And because those children choose to live, I don't think that they should be harassed. Because I've seen a lot of things happening in American entertainment, and those children are not doing any of those type of things. I remember the Lana Turner story, how her teenage daughter got hooked up in her mother's life. I don't know if anybody's old enough to really remember that. But that was a thing that was once told to us about Lana Turner and the situation that she got in with her lover and her daughter, teenage girl life was. I'm sure it affected her throughout whatever she ended up doing in life. I'm sure that had some type of effect on it. I'm looking hopefully that she found somebody to love, have her some babies to care for, and that would make everything all right for her. But if she tried to do it alone, then I know that had to be very, very sad.
Yeah, we've had the examples in these are things that touch our heart, that remind us that here we are, Barbara, you got great-grandchildren. How many more generations are we supposed to pass this? When I hear people speak like this, oh yeah, it's the next generation. I'm like, there's already 4, 5, 6, 7 generations right now on this planet. If we want to split us up in that age frame, we're all here.
Why? Well, we don't even have to consider the age at all. You just live. You just live until you die. That's the name of the game. Live until you die. Not exist until you die, but live. Right? We've all, like our teachers, our instructors, us that we're in a life of abundance. Abundance is really the way of the Creator, the Almighty, the Most High. Abundance. He didn't give us just a few flowers. He gave us fields of flowers in all different shapes. And they tell me sometimes when a multitude of colorful flowers go together, they even have I guess in their DNA to know to let the little flowers be in the front and then let the bigger flowers grow in the back. And so they said that that's how a lot of, fields of flowers grow. Like they have respect for the babies and they're up to the tallest. So that also shows us, that abundance that our instructors tell us that we're subject in being the God that we are, being a creation of the Creator. And it's very good when I hear people explain to the young people that we're not saying that we're the Most High, like the top of the line, but we are a part of the top of the line. I was raised a Southern Baptist, and it was very important that we have Sunday school to learn this who Jesus was. I didn't know that these people, I didn't know nothing about the J being a letter that wasn't created until later after. I didn't know anything. I just know that whoever that guy, I always asked the question, what am I supposed to do with Jesus? He taught me everything that I did. He was my company keeper as I'm walking through school because I had to walk back and forth to school. I didn't have no other company. But I did have those lessons that I had learned from going to Sunday school, and I saw everything was taught to us. Now I realize this. I didn't realize it then. I didn't know the meanings of the words, but I knew that the words, I could sing the song. Now that I'm grown, I can look back and see what it meant when they say, what a blessing in Jesus I found. There's peace, there's love all around. Precious joys will unfold. He has riches that will never be told. What a blessing in Jesus I found. So now that I've gotten with this content group, everybody's talking about this Miss Jesus. My question is, what am I to do with him? All this stuff that he's taught me. Can you imagine just walking down the street and you got that type of song to keep you company? As you go along, you go into more and more. Like I said, I didn't know how to spell the words at the time. I didn't even know what the words meant. But I had heard the elders in the church and in the community that I was in say it. So I realized that that's that old language, that old teachers that ancient times talks about the days we used to do. You learn something and you tell me, and then I learn it and I tell somebody else. Like the snowball effect, the dominoes effect.
Yes, that's exactly right. Because books, like the Egyptians, libraries can be burned. Written books can be destroyed. The knowledge like that can be destroyed. But the oral tradition, the passed down through oral, through the word, through the spoken language, through the stories. That's what all these stories are about. They're to preserve the knowledge through the oral language, so that way the knowledge lives on. You're right on.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we have to get together and share this information more. My thing is, I have these children, these great grandchildren. They're the age is 12 to 15, but they all WWE wrestling fans. So I wanted to find out if there's anybody in this area, Silver Spring, Washington D.C., who would be interested in starting a fan club for the WWE wrestlers, because these children love that sport. I remember it growing up, but I was more in the club. I was a discoer. I liked to dance. That was my thing. Once we get one thing started, then we can get a daytime disco going, too, for people of older age or who are available, disabled, or ain't got daytime activities. You got the time available. All we need is some space and a boom box, and we got it all. But with that type of space, we could do a daytime card play. You could do a bridge for those who like to play bridge.
The dance started in your neighborhood again. Go on.
Say that again.
Get the dance started in your neighborhood. Community garden.
This is what I'm saying.
We get
But see, you don't want to. You want to do it around people who are acting like you and thinking like you. You know, if you just advertise, and then anybody come, you don't want no anybody energy around you. You want somebody with similar minds or similar attitude to who knows how to enjoy joy. You know, some people don't really know how to play. That's like somebody said earlier. Playing, that's an art. And some people just don't know how to do that. And those
we're finding out again. You know, we got caught up in that school and job thing, and we're remembering again how to play. You guys ever see that? I just saw them for the first time. I think they're called Joy Camp. They got some videos they make. Oh my man, they had me laughing. They were talking about astrotheology one, and this guy's talking to this girl at a party, and she's like all into astrotheology, and they're talking this, and it's really funny. And then at the end, she's got a boyfriend, and her boyfriend's like all rude and crass and like, come on, baby, let's go. And she just had this beautiful, really heart spiritual conversation with this guy, and then goes off with the brute who doesn't even have a clue of what this knowledge is and connected his heart. And I just, that's it, what you just reminded me, like, yeah, you want to connect with people, if you sleep with assholes, you're going to get some energy rubbed off on you. That's probably not the nicest energy you want to be walking around with. It kind of hit home. I laughed. I laughed out loud when I saw that ending, because I was like, oh, I've been there. Shoot.
Now, that's good laughter when you laugh out loud. That's good laughter.
Yeah.
That is very good laughter.
In these guys' videos, they're showing, there's this one, I forget what it's called, and anyways, he's sitting with friends and he's sharing with them, some knowledge and some truths, and the friends are like not wanting to hear it and all this stuff. And just the way they're approaching these subjects with humor, I thought was really excellent. And to when we have more of this, when we can laugh at ourselves and we can laugh at the so-called systems, we can laugh at our shadow, we can laugh at the darker elements playing the game for us. And because when we can do that, it's a good thing. And we're not laughing at it because we feel defeated or anything in a negative way, or it's because we really have come home. And we can really
There it is, right? Yeah, we've won this war. Hey, this is cheery celebration time. We have definitely, sure, we got battles that we still go through, but the war, we got the game and gone. John Stewart is your man. Now, that man puts me on my knees. That John Stewart man. facial and body expression. And when he started talking about that, because Canadian, Kate. Yeah.
Hey guys, can I just butt in a minute?
I'll call you tomorrow. I'm in bingo. I gotta go gamble. I'll call you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Barbara.
Oh, they're doing it now.
Wow.
Somebody just tagged me to say they can hear a lot of background noise. Can anybody else hear that?
Yeah, I think that Barbara's still on the line. Okay.
You gotta hang up, Barbara.
We'll check it in a moment. Hey, Mark, do you remember which number was Barbara? Anyway, she'll do it in a moment. Was that all you want to just remind us of the moment with the status on the other?
Is that
so
better?
Yeah, maybe there we go. Maybe Barbara won.
Yeah.
Bingo.
For sure, bingo, Barbara. Go dancing.
Well, I like that energy.
Yeah.
She's cool. She is cool.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
I just thought I'd jump in at the last minute to say hi. I've been listening.
The ninja?
Hey, Ninja.
Yeah, how you doing?
What's up?
What's up? Not much. Yeah. No, it's been a really nice show. You guys doing good. Really nice to have all that input. Yeah, beautiful.
Well, where the hell you been?
Well, I wasn't even supposed to be here at all. So I thought I was going to go to bed. But then anyway, I got chatting, and so then I'm still here. But I was listening while I was chatting, so I was doing a bit of both.
Eavesdropping?
So there you go. Huh?
Eavesdropping?
Chatting. Shopping.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not in the UK
hey, what the
right
hell
now.
Was that?
No, eavesdropping.
Oh, eavesdropping. Is that what we call it now when we're typing and listening at the same time? Yeah, I suppose you could call it that.
Hey, at least it made you laugh, Ninja.
Oh, everything makes me laugh, Mark. You know that.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I just wanted to say well done and all that, and thought I'd jump in for a minute and just before I hit the sack. So yeah, nice, well done, very very good show. Looking forward to next week.
Thank you, Ninja.
Well, hey, Ninja.
Now that we know how to.
Hello.
Now that we know how to do the board.
Yeah,
Valerie.
Hi,
Valerie.
How are you?
I'm all right, my love. How are you?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Mirror, mirror. I heard you were up all night. Yeah, I heard you were up all night. Got a message from me about how awesome you are.
I get so embarrassed when I get messages like that, but it's so nice at the same time. Thank you.
Well, you are just a wonderful asset to this table. I mean, you're pretty priceless.
Wow.
And if nobody's told you today how much you're appreciated and valued, please let me. You are very, very valued. Thank you so much, Ninja. Thank you so much, Kate. Thank you so much, Mike and Mark and Santos and everybody else who keeps this table just on top of everything. It's nice to hear from Barbara, too. I like that lady. She reminds me of a woman who took care of me when I was growing up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Valerie, for that. It's beautiful to have the appreciation for what we would do anyway. We would do it even if we didn't think anyone was listening. I think it's just something that you just do, because you're just in that position and in that frame of mind. And, so thanks for that. And, it's a great pleasure. Great pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, Val, great stuff, and Barbara, yeah, come on. I love her. I love all of you guys. But look what's happening. And I do have one little thing I want to share. I am down to the last less than 100 for Facebook. So if anyone wants to get me, you've probably got until late tomorrow. Now, I'm going to open up another one, but this is just showing you that consciousness is peaking right now. Because I always knew as soon as the number 5 was reached, that's my life path. That is Venus. That is love. You see how I write my script? I just set it in place and watch it unfold. It's friggin' amazing. And of course, BTR listener 54, 9, consciousness, are you shitting me? Yeah, you could make this up, but why bother? We already did. I'm just enjoying it now. What's the point in wasting time taking turns and detours and all the rest of it when the cab driver knows the way home? Just get on board and home, James. Yeah, it's just my thoughts.
Yeah, exactly, Kate. Exactly.
I'm feeling really nice and
chilled.
Chilled out at the moment.
Mellow.
Yeah, really mellow.
Nice.
I find it interesting, and we'll just bring in that it's really nighttime in the UK right now. I want to call it the UC after I've seen the the co.uk. I'm just like, okay, co-UC. But anyways, whatever that means. That it's the afternoon here for me. So it's the afternoon here for me. It's the middle of the night there for you guys. And that it's good timing for me, because if it was the show was after midnight for me, I'd be asleep, guys. I'd be doing it from my my dreams, another waking reality if it was so. So I'm glad I'm in the afternoon here. But I am thinking, but I get up like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, part of my nature, and it's a great time to tune in the life, because it's very quiet. And if you're in any city or any town where it's really busy, anywhere really, what it is during that time of the night, early morning, whichever way you want to look at it, there's very little mental activity floating around, and you can tune in quite clearer to yourself and what is. And if you're waking up in these odd hours of the night, in the morning, get some use out of it. Go outside. Look at the stars. Remember the earth you're standing on. Look at the universe. Reflect it out and commune. Get mystical with it, people, because it is, in many ways, a mystical journey we are living. They were not kidding when they said it was the Magical Mystery Tour. And you can make it as, and the beauty I'm seeing is we are now in the position to make it more fun, bring more humor into our lessons, bring more humor into our experience to actually to show the contrast in a positive way for a lot of the people. And beautiful. So we have a few more callers, or pretty much all of us are at the table with our hands up right now.
I mean, we've talked about this quite a bit, but you can't sort of just sit with nature, just take it all in, absorb it. It's so lovely.
Yeah, there are simple things you can do. Take off your shoes, for starters. I live in the tropics, so it's quite natural. But even here, people wear the plastic sandals, the flip-flops, and even that, it's disconnecting from just the sticking your toes in the earth. Put your hands. I swear, if you got any pain in your body, go stick your hands in the garden. If you ain't got a garden, I don't know, get a knife or spoon and loosen up some dirt and put your hands in it. I feel it helps. It helps me. And I thought, oh, pain's gone. Oh, what was that? And it's we live in a magical place. It's always communicating with us. If we, what's the old saying? If we have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. And this is coming clearer and clearer in the now, in the present moment. And this is going hand in hand by with ourselves and allowing us to recognize and remember. What I found very interesting is that we call it is. It's like many moons ago when I used to try and describe the universe and the world and something in a kind of, like I'm trying to do, descriptive manner. It really came back to, well, it just is. And it really hit home with me listening to Kate and Santos and some others actually break down what is. And in different ways showing us this different meanings to show us really this is what it's kind of like truth. It's we just accept. It's just this really heart acceptance. It's just like that's just is. You reach this, I guess this, we've been reminded this neutral place, this balance point where you recognize life for what it is and accept it. It just is. And this isn't mean, and I'm usually talking about the beautiful, the gorgeous part of it. But this is also looking at all aspects of ourselves in existence and in a way accepting that and not, and also realizing that through this connection, this beauty shines for everyone. This isn't a dream I have of myself. This is a shared dream. If this was my only dream, this was only Mike's dream, I'd be living it already. This is a shared dream, and it's even more beautiful.
And you're a beautiful actor in this wonderful now. That was for you, Mike.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello?
You. So what do you guys want to think? We got about? Yeah, go on.
I'm talking about now time, I think, just being in the present. I wanted to touch briefly about the Barbara. I don't know. Oh, there she goes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's better.
That's okay. But, I think most of us, my grandfather, he used to say to me, the one thing to stop an argument immediately, because it's just wasted energy, is if right now was your last moment, would what you're arguing about really be important? Most of the time it wouldn't. Or if you believe that you're a good person, if your life was displayed on a large screen for the world to see, would you still be happy with the person that you are? That's one way to stop an argument immediately. But, Mike, you were talking about now time, and if I could just take a minute to read something that I've been reading for the last, although I've tweaked it a little bit. It's not mine. It's an unknown author, but I've read it for the last 20 years. And it starts out really simple. It says, today is here. Today is here, and I'll start with a smile. I'll resolve to be. I will not criticize. I refuse to waste my valuable now. Today has one thing in which I know that I am equal with all. We all draw the same salary in seconds, minutes, and hours that people count. Today I will not waste my time because the minutes I wasted yesterday are lost as a vanished thought. Today I refuse to spend time worrying about what might happen. I'm going to spend my time making things happen. Today I'm determined to do the things that I should do, and I'm firmly determined to stop doing the things I should not do. Today I'll begin by doing and not wasting my time. This is my favorite line. In 1 week, I'll be miles beyond the person I am today. Today I would not imagine what I would do if things were different. They're not different. I will make my success with what materials I have. Today I'll stop saying if I had time, for I'll never find time for anything. If I want it, I must take it. Today I'll act towards other people as though it might be my last day on earth, and I will not wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes.
That's perfect. Hey, I want to share one also while we're on that. My name is I Am. When you live in the past, with its mistakes and regrets, it is hard. I am not there. My name is not I was. When you live in the future, with its worries and fears, it is hard. I am not there. My name is not I will be. When you live in the present moment, it is not hard. It is a synchronous flow of miracles. I am here. I am now.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Hey, Valerie, if you could share that on my page, what you read, I really like that. Thank you. I don't know if you're not a Skype contact of mine, but you can add me in Skype as well, please.
I sure will.
So you hit upon a word, miracles. And many times we're looking for miracles in the wrong place. And if we're looking into the distorted, into the distortion, into the so-called matrix, the distortion, and expecting miracles out of there, you're looking in the wrong place. But that was the nature of the game we set up. And confused ourselves into connecting to where we're in the nature again, into the miraculous flow of the organic life that is glowing with love and truth. And this is the heart. This is the essence of existence here. And this is coming clearer. And I'm happy to share in the remembrance. Where am I going with this? It's in many ways we're remembering.
That's it, Mike. You don't need to say any more. It is remembering. Because we don't know how many times we've played this game. It might have been an infinite amount of times we've played this game. But you pick up the breadcrumbs. You know in your heart. And you were just remembering. Everyone is. Synchronicities, people say.
Yeah, and so thank you, Mark. And that's the natural connection that is here, as we were sharing earlier. Quite a few of us at the table tonight, and everyone who's listening in, it's because of that, the way we are interconnected through our hearts. It becomes this, it's telepathic in nature, and it's heart so essence at its core. And we're recognizing the common from other people we listen to, other people we see. We're recognizing this common threads of this experience, and it's starting to shine. And part of that is because we have not focused on old aspects that clouded our vision, or future dreams in another way shaded our sight. And we're coming into that remembrance of, oh, it was right here all along. I'm right here.
We can see the trees.
And so this distortion, I really we were sharing this earlier, and maybe someone would like to add some nice ways this resonates with them. But it's really like the way I'm sharing it, it's like your radio, your dial on your radio. And these limiting thoughts and patterns are on a certain frequency band. And it's getting narrower and narrower because we're getting clearer and clearer. These untruths are falling away. It's, naturally, this is what's happening. This is what we're sharing. What enlightenment means in one way is the untruths fall away and the truth shines. And so the more the truth is shining, the more, and it's flowing from love, that this distortion becomes narrower and narrower, and it becomes a narrower frequency band. And like that, we can, in a way, for myself, from my perspective, I see 0 point, the really people communicating from the heart as their primary impulse, so to say, the way our motive, where we express from, and that's just going to be more and more and more, and the ideas in this narrow frequency band of this distortion, this old matrix structure, is not possible to tune in anymore. It's like you'll try and think like that, and you'll be like, how come I can't think like that anymore? And it's because that level of existence is past. We have tuned in and are resonating in a more harmonious vibration, that the distortion no longer can interrupt your receptive field.
I don't like that game. I'm not playing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's coming clearer, isn't it? It's like, I'm not tuning into that station anymore. It's like literally like that. You're not choosing those thoughts. And before, we might have just kept playing with them and like, why do I keep entertaining these thoughts and getting into these situations I don't want to do? And now it's coming really close, as you just said. I ain't playing that game. I ain't choosing those thoughts to go into that, and that's coming clearer and clearer for people. And
that's what Katie's always saying about the sandbox.
Yeah. Yeah, and I ain't playing with those assholes.
And I had a traumatic experience at 4 years old in the sandbox. I did not want to go back. I mean, I was so upset. I don't even remember what it was. I just remember being traumatized. And my mother said, "You're going." And I went, and it was fine.
Mm.
So every time Katie says something about the sandbox, yeah, that's a true story. Everybody play nice.
Yeah, be kind.
Yes,
yeah?
Be kind. I think that's the key. Kindness is the key. Love is the key.
Okay, was there anybody else there? I heard somebody else I think was wanting to chime in. I want to give him a chance. Hello? Okay.
Was that me you're talking to?
Yeah, that was you.
Oh, sorry, Mike. It's Valerie.
Hey.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that movie that by What Dreams May Come.
Yeah.
Williams. I forget what his name is. Anyways, we all see things differently, but if we can all get on the same wavelength, which I believe is a large vibration of everybody. That's what we send out.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're sending that out, I think most people are at the point of being fed up. And I'm going to give another movie perspective. It's a Truman movie. When he found out he was being watched and there was something just outside of that back wall. And once he left the studio that he grew up in and thought it was a town, it's a shame that it gave you a great perspective on what we think or where we are. That goes with the saying that you become a product of your environment. But if you get outside of your environment, the opening is limitless.
Yeah.
Yeah, just limitless.
Really.
That's what Kate was saying yesterday about just trusting in your heart and letting go. Because if you have ultimate trust, you know it will come right.
Yeah, and with that...
Because your intent is there again, isn't it?
There you go. Yeah. That's what Valerie was sharing. There was the intent to something else is there. Everyone's having this experience. Don't think this is exclusive. Everyone's having their own Truman Show in a way, where something is going, hey, look at this. Whether it's
exclusive. Actually, it is exclusive. Let me share why. I'm going to see. This is I like jumping in on occasion. Exclusive, or better yet, the life clues. I've put your dots anywhere you want. Make the word into whatever you want to define it as. Cool, huh? Life clues I have, and I'm sharing. Right? Of course, it's exclusive. Yeah. This is an exclusive club. Depends on perspective and who's defining your reality. You are. Right. Anyway, that was a beautiful word, guys. Thank you. That was just fun.
And so this is what we're coming to the realization of. And as you're saying, Mark, that's kind of the next step. There's this trusting in the heart that your next step, to take your next step. You don't even have to think, what is it, to a degree. Just take it with intent that you're going in this direction. The one that you are wanting to recognize and remember. And then boom, boom, boom. Things will align. Because I'm ending up there. This is what's so happy for me when people come to the table. They know. They go, I know this is in my reality, and this is what is. And that power of intent makes my heart smile, because it's sharing in one way, a worldview that is inclusive of all in terms of their free will choice and love. It's like, well, there you go. I still love you. You got your free will choice. So in this regard, we hope we're free of the game. This is what I got to say. We can keep describing the distortion. We can keep describing the game. What I'm really wanting to shift to is how we are interacting with the new, or it's not the new, the natural way we were, we do flow on this planet inside this beautiful, with this being. And this is, again, recognizing we were sharing this earlier. For example, where we flying again, where we are dancing again, where we are teleporting if that's what we so choose to do, where we are communing with nature on a regular basis. And so this is where we need to, again, shift our imagination to again. Let's stop imagining I have to go to work today. Let's imagining dancing with the flowers. Let's stop imagining, even if you have to go through it, you don't have to imagine it. All right, I did it, done. What is the next thing I really want to create? This is what we were talking about and Barbara was mentioning. It's the living part. This is the part we need to focus on and work our imagination, work our magic on. And because too much our focus and attention was in actually upholding an old system, not even creating. We weren't creating really in the distortion, in the matrix. We were kind of reconstructing away. And now we're realizing our true creative nature, where we really do create outside of that old paradigm in the what do you want to call it? In this beautiful.
Well, the trick is, Mike, is that you're creating at all points. You choose what you want to recreate, right? See, this is our power. We've always been creating it. It's just being, we're in a game, so there's no good or guys and bad guys here. This is all about the contrast. So we've went through a point where we had lots of darkness, so we could experience the lowest of lows, so we can also experience the highest of highs. And that's why, for me, I don't see good or evil. I simply see contrast of the same thing. So it's a singularity now for me. All of this is singularity. And make no bones about it. Whatever you're thinking on, you're creating in your reality. What's happening now is we're recreating that reality in our image from our points of view, instead of buying into another point of view that has been playing the game to perfect synchronicity. There are no bad guys here. This is the joke. If you get caught in the script and screaming at the movie, then
right.
You're still in the audience. And I'm talking, you haven't made it to producer level to come back to the audio ents or the sound mind. That's the other word. Consonant with sound mind, audience, sound mind. Right? And it's all about creating that. So when you are redefining the words, and I need you to hear this, you are absolutely, literally recreating your reality. This is the key to Pandora's box. It's open. Like I said, I'm standing at the door. Come on. And now people are starting to roll through. This is great, So, this is why every thought is a wish. We're just changing our wish patterns instead of buying the same old. We're tired of the experience. We've experienced it. We've been to the highs and the lows, and for me, it's an absolute trust in knowing that all is well. So I do whatever I do because I cannot make a mistake. I just choose to have the illusion of thinking that I did when I actually didn't. This removes all previous programs of guilt and all. It really does. It removes all of the negatives and cancels them out. It's either you're going to be in Baal Ents, in the mind of Baal, or you're going to be the Baal Lance, the spirit. That's what we do. We spirit with the Baal Lance, the Lance of Baal. So that's what happens when you have a cyst. You have to, lance it, right? So Baal is the system that we're lancing by bringing ourselves into that Baal Lance position instead of being of the mind of Baal, which is why they ask for Baal. And if you accept any terms of Baal, you are still of the Baal mind. You still have not found your way home, where all you have to do is simply stand in truth and say, no, not my reality. And everything that we see as a conflict will only be the mirror of the conflict within. The only things that will enter your universe are those things that you still need to see, to experience, to bring you there. And if you're looking for the shortcut, you made it here. Welcome home. If there's something you think to have value here, then all you need to do is listen. And I mean really listen. Don't listen with all the chitter-chatter of trying to debate something, or just let benevolence soak in. Because I assure you, this is the first time in a very long time that you've had pure benevolence come at you. And it's a very hard thing to accept, because we have been so mistrusting of each other that why the hell would I trust that? Well, here's the magic. I'm just another point of view. For me, I'm just a voice in your head that's saying, you are all love. You are the law of truth. And that's all I am. I'm just that thought in your mind. I'm one thought of countless infinite thoughts. Which thought are you going to listen to? That's all. And it doesn't make me special. It just makes me, in the point of view, having a conversation with God. You, me, magnetic, electric, all, the we, the yes. Pretty easy.
Yeah, I like that word yes, Kate. It's I heard somebody breaking it down how it's a very powerful word, actually, to say yes. And it's just, it's in some ways, it's an intent in a way. You're yes.
Let me neutralize. Let me neutralize this whole thing. You need to learn to say yes and no at the same time. Yes and K-N-O-W at the same time. It's a singularity in the phonics. Not in the spelling. It'll be separated, and you will assume it to be N-O, yes and no, where I'm just simply saying yes and yes. But you thought see the magic? That's how you break the spell. That's how you cast the new spells. Decide what you want to spell the word out, what you want to define the word as, and you have all the rules. I mean, you got caught up in the dictionary, so you can use the laws against itself, right? Those who make the laws must obey the laws. So that part of us that created the intent within the words is also not only been caused with it, will also be equally at effect once you get the key, and you have the key now. It's all in the sound. Phoenicians. So I'm here to dismember and completely dismantle Rome and leaving no stone upon another.
So I like how we were doing the word tain and taint. Excuse me. And I was thinking, what about this word struct? Like we have construct, destruct, structure, struct. Don't see this word as a singular struct. But we see it as a kind of the structure of a building, I guess, is the framework. And you could be struck. You could be hit. So that's another one of these words. Like we don't see the root of it. Because we don't. It's not a word we recognize generally, like struck or tain, at least in the English language. But then when we look into it, as Kate's been saying, when the spell is broken, we see all these hitting meetings in a way, other aspects that relates in many ways to other people, and it's more to yourself, how now you're seeing clearer for yourself. And yeah, I'm really grateful for this to recognize.
It's the magic key. It is the magic key. And just letting you guys know, I opened up area code 604. That's British Columbia. So I just want to let them know their mic's open. We got about 8 minutes left here. So if you want to bring them in, and anybody else who hasn't had a say, just come on in.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hey, it's DJ.
Hey.
DJ, how are you? Oh, my God, how are you?
Oh, I'm so good.
Oh, my God, yes, you are.
No words for this call tonight. No words. Really. Wow.
That's when
anyway,
you know
I want to share something really quick. I just got confirmation that I'm home. Listen to this. This was written May 2nd, 2012. I'm just going through some old writings of mine. Oh, my God. Anyway, listen. I'm so tired. My body aches all over. My heart aches all over. Just want to be heard. Just want to be validated. Why do I feel so victimized? I'm so tired of people dictating my time. I am sick of the canned news. I am scared of more physical injury. Feel so trapped. My body has become my jail. Does anybody see me? Why am I always screaming? I want to receive love, want to give love, want to be love. My life is too rigid. I need some fun. Don't remember fun. Need to honor my goddess, I will get through this. The eagles are always here, always there. Love the eagles. I want to love humanity. I want to love Mother Earth. Will become one with myself and this planet. I will remember who I am. I am that I am. May 2nd, 2012. I'm home, man. Wow.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Welcome. Well, just so you know what structure means, it does come from stru, as to throw down. Structure means well, here it is, to put together systematically. Yeah, that's not a good idea, is it? So anyway, there's where, so destruct is to unbuild systematically, right? Or of strewn around. When you destroy something, it's definitely a mess. So anyway, yeah, that's what I do. I'll pick out components of words and search them up in etymology. Just Google is your friend. Seriously. Just hey. That's all I did. Follow your nose. Follow your heart. You can't make a mistake. Every click is perfect. You just need to see why. I learned how to see that. That's all. I just
thank you for sharing that, DJ.
Thanks, Mark. Whew.
Hey guys, I want to say good night to you guys. I'm peacing out.
All right. Well, we're out of here in a few minutes. I do want to say to DJ, bet you didn't know you were your own prophet, did you?
Love you guys.
Pro-Phi 9T, prophet. 4, sacred creation in consciousness with love. You got that one. I think, yeah. Told you you're all.
We got it. We got it.
And every one of you that gets here, you get to finally sit back in the audience in the sound mind and watch the cab driver take you home. And you'll see your confirmations now. And the more points of our consciousness see the confirmations, the faster this ride gets. And the faster pedophile drummers that hang out with prime ministers get exposed. Isn't it funny? Oh, my God. We've got some nasty bits of consciousness we need to get rid of in our minds, right? They're just thoughts to me. Anyway.
It's a big joke.
It is. And spirituality is laughing. Have some fun.
Mm-hmm.
I got my dancing shoes on again.
I got a synopsis of some Kate-isms here. We must have real eyes to realize the real lies, and real ears to hear the audience. Follow your nose. It always knows. It's connected to your heart.
And those are all things picked from the consciousness, because I'm merely the co-creation of you. I'm your mirror. Thank you for co-creating me.
I love you, beautiful.
Look at this monster you created. Well done.
Hey, you know what? I've always been good at directions and finding my way when I've either never been somewhere or I've been only once a long time ago. And the people used to say to me, how do you do it? And I always used to say, I just follow my nose. I think I'm going back years. And I'm hearing this here now. And I said, yeah, who would have known? I didn't know. I just knew, didn't I?
And you know that saying, when your nose is out of place? It's like, I don't know if you have it.
You know that joint. Yeah.
You need to straighten. It's kind of like your ego's in the way. Straighten it out, and then you can follow your nose.
Yeah.
Connect to your heart. Beautiful. Thank you, ladies.
Yeah, your nose is out of joint. It means you've lost the connection between your heart and mind. It's not joined anymore. It's out of joint. Joined.
There you go. Perfect.
I'll prove you right every time. Promise.
You do.
You've never been wrong. Let that one soak for a minute. That's one of my faves. You've never been wrong. You just had the illusion that you thought you were. There's only one time that you have been wrong, and that's the time you thought you were. See? Singularity.
These are little gems, aren't they? Because we've all used these expressions one way or other. We've had them growing up. I know I did. Many of them just, you don't ask what they mean, you just repeat them. And now we're starting to get what they mean, and that's beautiful because it's just, it's validating everything you probably should have been thinking about but weren't until that moment when you get it and you go, yeah. And this thing about let that soak in just now there, Kate, let that soak. Yeah, it all comes out in the wash, doesn't it? And then somebody said to me on Facebook the other day, and if it doesn't come out in the wash, it comes out in the rinse.
Elvita just jumped in. You got about 20 seconds, hon. Elvita. Okay. When you're ready, hon, unmute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I am unmute. Okay.
You bloody Geminis.
Great show, and good night to everyone. I'm always eavesdropping. I'm here every night. Believe that.
Oh, yeah. The tricky twins are always around, aren't we?
Yes.
We'll show you how to play. We're the Mutables. We'll show you a great time. Go dancing, baby. You and me are going dancing. We're all going dancing. Dancing with the stars.
Under the stars.